Anyhow,
Yes, I think we can begin with the session. Just a second, sir. Okay, so good evening, everyone. We are thrilled to welcome you to the Voices of Power Season 2, a series dedicated to meaningful conversations and impactful insights. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Voices of Power is a platform where we invite remarkable personalities to share their journeys, wisdom, and perspective on issues that truly matter in real life. Now, the first season of the series was an incredible success. We had amazing personalities like Smriti Irani, Yogita Bhayana, Devika Malik, and others among them. So now we start with the season two, and we aim to continue that tradition of impactful dialogue, starting with today's session. Now you will might be wondering why this topic, why not a workshop on coding or any other technical skill? So the answer to this is very simple. This is about your real life. While now coding and technology are important, understanding the world that we live in and the laws that govern us is equally essential. Today's session will empower you about the same. Our topic for today is Men Matter Too, exploring legal rights for men in India. Now, this session is designed to shed light on the legal rights availability to men in India and delve into the unique challenges that they face in context of gender equality. While advocating for women's rights remains very crucial, it's equally important to recognize and address the issues that the men of India encounter within the legal framework. The discussion will touch on recent controversies, evolving societal dynamics, and the way forward towards achieving a balanced approach to gender justice. To guide us through this important and impactful conversation, we are having a privilege to have with us Mr. Vikas Nagwan, a highly respected lawyer practicing before the Supreme Court of India and the Delhi High Court. Sir is the chairman of Juris Law Offices, a national level law firm with a presence before 8 different high courts across the country. A proud alumnus of Kurukshetra University, he holds degree in both engineering and law, which gives him a unique perspective on problem solving and procedure development. So before we delve into today's discussion, we would like to hear some opening remarks from you, sir, if you have any for us.
first of all, thank you for inviting me. Uh, as you have already told me that, and everybody else as well, you reminded me that I have also done my BTech. Then I became a lawyer, and once I became a lawyer, I got to know that the harsh reality of life. During school days, also nobody prepared us for the legal framework. During college days, nobody actually bothered to tell us that these are the laws that you must know. And when I became a lawyer, I got to know that the law governs before you are even born, and it will continue to govern you and your family and the entire inheritance if when you are, gone as well. There are prenatal diagnosis related laws. You cannot tell the sex of a child. Gender cannot be told, and there cannot be any test. The doctor is not supposed to do it in India. Although in US, it is permissible. When you become a child and you go to school, there are education related laws. When you go to college, there are again UGC implementation, the rules and regulations. After you join some company, there are employment laws. When you pay the electricity bill, there are electricity act and the other stuff. When you purchase a property, there are land revenue related matters, stamp duty as well. When you get married, there are matrimonial laws as well. And when you die, you leave your property, and the inheritance laws are again the succession related things. Those are there. But in most of our journey, we came to know that the basic essence of law is that it must be followed. And until or unless we are aware about the rights, remedies, the repercussions, we cannot survive in this harsh world. So today we'll talk about the laws which are gender specific, gender selective laws. Why, as a student, you must know about it because you are the future of this country. Later on, one among you would be a member of parliament, one among you might be a CEO of a big company. You might be representing India, few of you might do that. And rest of you will go and join some companies and you will be working and you will have a family of your own. You will have to to take care of your parents as well. So we'll deal about the social issues, the questions related to gender selective laws, which is currently, it has been trending for last 30 years or so. Right now, after Atul Subhas's case, a new discussion has taken place. So after this session, I hope we will have better understanding of the rights which are available to the females, the rights which are available to male, the remedies that can be availed, why these kind of laws exist, and if we feel these are unjust laws, what are the steps we can take for a better future.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for those valuable insights to set the tone. So now, without further ado, let's get started with today's session. So my first question, and the very basic one: historically, laws in India have focused on protecting women's rights due to years of systemic oppression. Do you think that this focus has unintentionally overlooked the challenges faced by the men?
First of all, we are discussing this issue because it is in social media, it is in newspaper and everything. Historically speaking, the condition of females have always been bad or worst, especially in the rural parts of the country. Urbanization has taken place only after independence. Before that, every even Delhi was kind of a urban village. So in most of the places, what used to be the situation, the father never bothered to educate the girl child. The females were not able to earn for themselves before marriage, and they were not able to earn for themselves after marriage. So first of all, during the first part of the life, the female child or the female, they would be dependent upon the father for their own upbringing, maintenance, and everything. And after marriage, because the child marriage has also been an issue. So this again was an issue, since she was first dependent upon the father. Later on, she was dependent upon the husband. And when there was any kind of ill will between the husband and wife, if there is misunderstanding or there is some altercation, the husband used to throw the wife out, and it included both the wife as well as the children. The laws were not there to deal with this kind of situations. Even today, when we go to the rural areas and we talk to the people over there, we see lots and lots of discrimination against females. Okay, there are few states where there is still the female feticide is there. They kill the girl child as soon as it is born. So just to protect the females, there was a necessity to bring certain laws. Now, why the laws were necessary was again another uh, how do I say, a step for a better society. When a child is there, he lives in a family, the father always tells the child, look, this is the behavior that you are supposed to have. You are not supposed to talk bad with the elder ones. You should be respectful to the other person. You should not be act in such a manner which if you are in a situation which you feel bad about yourself, or if there is a situation where somebody else is doing something to you and you are not able to accept that, though in those kind of situations we tell other child that, look, you are not supposed to fight with your siblings. You are supposed to behave in certain manner. This is the morality of a family. When the child becomes like a teenager, then the other part of the society is also involved, including the neighbors, the school, the children, the teachers, and as well teachers and other people as well. So there is again some set of rules, but the morality which tells us this is the right thing to do, the ethical behavior which tells us that this is the right kind of decision making, these are not enforceable. To mold the entire society, to have a better society, we need something which is enforceable, which comes from the basic morality, basic ethical behavior, and these are the laws. So just to have a better future for females, Article 15, Clause 3 was incorporated in the Constitution, which was already there at when the Constitution was enacted. And it gave the right to the government to make certain laws which are beneficial for the female women and children. The government knew that there was cases of bride burning, there were cases of female feticide, there were cases where the wife was thrown out from the house, there were cases when the female child was not being maintained by the father. So there was a necessity. So historically, just to uplift the females, just to bring them a good life so that they could have a dignified life. They were able to get maintained, they were able to survive. They should not have a life of vagrancy, destitution, and the other kind of, ill will which were already there in the society. These laws were enacted. It included the 498A, which was there in IPC, that you cannot treat your wife with cruelty. Even the family members of the husband, they cannot treat the wife or the daughter-in-law with cruelty. You cannot demand the dowry, which is another ill will. We'll talk about it during the later part of this session. Then Domestic Violence Act came. There were situations where the college going girls, school going girls, there were situations and there was instances of eve teasing as well. So just to curb that, the section 354A was incorporated in the IPC, that you are not supposed to outrage the modesty of a female. There have been situations when the boys used to abuse girls just to show their dominance. So section 509 was incorporated, and there have been other cases also. Later part of this our upcoming judicial journey, Supreme Court in Vishakha's case laid down certain guidelines because there was some sexual harassment related issues at workplaces also. And I would not say these kind of laws at that point of time were not needed. There was pretty much a big need of these kind of laws. Females were being discriminated. There were atrocities against females just because of gender. So the government did whatever it has had to do. But later, when we had currently as well, we have more females which are educated enough, who are able to earn for themselves. The misuse of the law started. Even in today's scenario, when you go to Haryana, UP, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, the rural parts, you will see the practice where the father always try to give certain more opportunities to get educated, especially to the boy child, and they are not bothered about the females, the girl child. And even today, I believe that until or unless all these problems are sorted out, these kind of laws would still be there in power.
But the main question is these problems will continue to exist for a long time, as we can see. But how do we tackle that issue of misuse of these laws like 498A or dowry harassment law? Like we have been seeing the misuse in the recent times. So how do we curb that?
The misuse, first of all, we must understand what is misuse and what is the nature of law. Where when I started studying the jurisprudence, basically legal jurisprudence, I got to learn about Saint Augustine, Aquinas, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as well. There is a saying in law which says the unjust law is no law. Now we need to understand first what is unjust law. A law which violates the fundamental right of somebody, a law which lacks equity. Equity means equal treatment of both the parties, not discrimination based on gender or age or religion or anything else, or with a law which deviates from moral standards. And fourth, a law which fails to serve its purpose, which fails to serve the justice. Even Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said that law is something which is there for a better progressive society. All right. So these laws, when they were enacted, they were just laws. The only issue was the misuse which has taken place during the course of years. All right. So there has been a lots and lots of cases. There have been lots and lots of instances where false cases are being implemented. It is just like the reservation policy. It should be there in the society till the time it is needed. If we need to curb the misuse of the laws, there are other provisions in the there were provisions in the Indian Penal Code, and there are provisions in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita as well, where the specific sections are given, which says that if you give certain false information to the police, then you should be punished. If you give false statement in the court, then you should be punished. There is an offense of perjury. The only issue is in most of the cases which originate from the gender selective laws, they if somebody, the victim especially, if she gives a certain false statement, in most of the cases she is let go and she is not prosecuted. To deal with these
So,
kind of situations, yeah, to deal with this kind of situations, what we need to do is we need to discuss this entire scenario on the case to case basis. This is first
so,
task.
so from what I get, these safeguards are not actually effective in reality. Sir, can you share any recent examples where the judiciary intervened in favor of falsely accused men?
Judiciary has all, look, I cannot because these female related these judgments and everything, there have been some cases of Supreme Court where the Supreme Court has tend to favor the men as well, who are, even in district court in Tisazari itself, there was a case wherein some daughter-in-law filed false cases against the father-in-law and the husband. And after the trial, which concluded in like 7 or 8 years, the court found that the statement which was given by the daughter-in-law was false and directed the police to take action. But these are ikka dukka cases. In like thousands of cases, there are just 1 or 2 cases which comes in this kind of situation, which reaches this kind of decision. There is a lack of proactiveness on the part of judiciary as well. Now, what I see, and I get lots and lots of comments and questions, people say that the judiciary must act. Why don't the Supreme Court pass such kind of orders that these are laws which which are discriminatory and does not fulfill the criteria of Article 14, which says you have a right to equality and equal protection of laws. So one particular gender is being let go in the same situation. But we must understand that the Supreme Court is not there and the High Court is not there to change the law. Supreme Court and High Court's duty is to implement the laws which are made by the Parliament. So it is the Parliament which has laid down the law. Even in like 2023, the IPC was replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. The CRPC was replaced by Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. The Indian Evidence Act was again replaced by Sakshi Adhiniyam. Until unless the parliamentary will is there, we cannot change the laws. We must understand that. Second, if there is this kind of this situation where the female files a certain false complaint against a boy or any other relative or any other person, in that situation the need for a strict proof must be there. But in some situations the law is so biased, so gender selective, that apart from being harassed by the process and then the conviction itself, there is no other option for the accused. There have been people. There was a case of, I think there was Sarabjit's case. His life was ruined just because of some false allegations.
So I was also actually reading one case where one of the men claimed that one of the men said that demanded that the police need to firstly see the facts there. Firstly, they need to listen before acting on this. Like I have seen that I was reading the cases here, and what I saw that police makes immediate arrest when the case is filed. So, do you think that there needs to be a proper setting and police needs to firstly see the facts there in the cases, need to examine all those, and even and only after that they need to go on the action part.
Let's divide your question in two parts. First, the duty of the police. All right. Then power of the police to arrest.
Yes,
So this is, we are talking about criminal law, because police is only concerned about criminal law, the crime rate which is there in under a specific police station. So the duty of the police is, first, if there is allegation, I'm not saying proof, allegation of commission of a cognizable offense. Now, what is cognizable offense? An offense which has been declared by this, how do I say, by the parliament under the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, that this is cognizable. This is a situation wherein the police can arrest without warrant. There is no definition apart from this which is given. So these are basically kind of serious kind of offenses where the police can arrest without warrant. So in situation where the cognizable offense is made out, based on these allegations, police is duty bound to register the FIR. After FIR is registered, it is the duty of the police to investigate the matter, to get the statement from the concerned, the witnesses, to collect the mobile tower, location, to collect the CCTV footage, to get the FSL report, and apart from that, there are other kind of medical evidences also there. After thorough investigation, if the police is of the opinion that the offense is either not made out or it is made out but somebody else has committed the offense, in that situation, police files a closure report that the offense is not made out. We don't want to proceed with the trial. But in most of the cases where the statement of a girl is given, the Supreme Court even said in few cases, and there are High Court judgments as well, which says even the sole testimony and the statement of the girl is sufficient to convict that accused. So police in these kind of situations files a charge sheet, and based on the charge sheet, the cognizance is taken. After cognizance, the trial takes place. This is the procedure that is adopted by the police in most of the cases, approximately 99.99% cases. Second is the related to the power of the police to arrest. Since it is a cognizable offense, the police can arrest without warrant. This is the power which is given under law. But in 2013, there was a case in Supreme Court, Arnesh Kumar. In Arnesh Kumar's case, Supreme Court has categorically stated that wherever the punishment is less than 7 years, in that situation, police is not, you know, should not be proactive to arrest the accused there and then. Because before 2013, if there was even an allegation of against a person which was related to an offense which in which the punishment was approximately 1 year, 2 year, and for any duration, the police used to arrest. I have seen those cases. But after 2013, the situation is changed. Now, if the punishment of that particular offense is less than 7 years, the police does not automatically arrest the accused. And even if there is an apprehension, the police wants to arrest, then there is a right with the accused to file the anticipatory bail before the session court or before the high court itself. And in most of the cases, we get the anticipatory bail in these kind of situations. So the power of the police is there, but we should not be afraid of it. Even if a person who has committed a murder, even if a person who has committed an offense, he also has certain rights. So as an innocent person, we should be at least content enough that we are also able to enforce our legal rights, and we are able to afford avail our legal remedies as well.
Another important aspect of all this, divorce and maintenance laws. So the divorce and maintenance laws often impose financial burdens on men, like high profile cases like the 2022 Bombay High Court ruling on alimony caps have stirred debates. So what's your opinion on this, sir? Like, do you think such cases bring fairness to the table?
If there is an extortion of one party, these kind of cases does not bring any fairness. On one hand, we have dowry related laws wherein we say that dowry taking dowry is an offense, giving dowry is an offense. At the same time, when we talk about the alimony related and maintenance related laws, these laws, again, the purpose of the judiciary is always to implement the law, and the intent of the legislative body was always have been for the betterment of females. There is only one provision which actually favors men in this kind of maintenance related cases. But this is social evil. Dowry is a social evil. At the same time, a well earning lady, she can also claim alimony. And there are disparities in law. In my own opinion, these kind of situations are not fair, especially against men. And the unfairness has been brought on the table by the legislative body itself.
So, should India work towards exploring more robust laws that prevent misuse of alimony provisions, like income disclosure for both the parties?
There are laws which are related to income disclosure. All right. In Delhi High Court, there was a case of Kushum Sharma. which has changed the entire matrimonial scenario. Now, when a case is filed by a wife against the husband that is related to the maintenance, in that kind of situation, both the husband and wife have to file detailed income affidavit, telling the court on oath, all right, this is my income, these are my bank accounts, this is my PAN number, and this is my last 3 years bank statement. These are the ITRs that I have been filing for last 3 years. So the situation of income disclosure is there. But the issue is, once the law always only says that you are the only person who can claim maintenance, not your husband in this kind of special law, especially let's say, let's talk about 125 CRPC, which has been converted to 144 Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. The wife can claim maintenance from the husband. When we talk about Domestic Violence Act 2005, wife can always claim maintenance against the husband from the husband. But the husband cannot have the same reciprocity, does not have the same right of claiming maintenance under the same law. All right.
Yes, sure. So
So,
should there be any caps on all these? Like, let's say, for example, a man and a woman are earning nearly the same. So should there be certain cap? Like, okay, you can, if you want to demand, you can get only 20% or 10% of that, something like that.
all right. So, first you must understand that when we talk about maintenance, if wife is earning, she is able to maintain herself. If husband is earning, husband is able to maintain himself, and they are earning almost equal amount of money, which can be shown from the bank account statements. In that situation, maintenance is not awarded to the wife unless there are children in the family, because the duty of the parents is there to take care of the children when they are minor, for their education, for medical, and their own, the entire upbringing. And I have seen cases wherein the courts have stepped forward and directed the husband and wife both to share 50% expenses each related to the child. It is the disparity in the income, which is the difference in the income, which gives the push to the court to award certain maintenance to the wife. For example, if the husband is earning 10 lakh rupees a month and wife is earning 1 lakh rupees a month, under section 144 Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which was 125 CRPC, when you Google, because instead of getting into the actual language, I'm just trying to make you conversant with certain sections. So under 125 CRPC and 144 Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, the the only criteria is that wife is not able to maintain herself irrespective of her income. Second, husband has sufficient means to maintain the wife. But under Domestic Violence Act, the legislative body has provided a subsection which says that the wife has the right to enjoy the same standard of life, same standard of living as she was accustomed to when she was living with the husband. If you are living in a rural area, you might be able to maintain yourself in 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees a month. But if you are in urban area, if you are living in Mumbai, then even 2 lakh rupees might not be, sufficient. So the equality is to the extent that husband, if he is having a lavish life, then under Domestic Violence Act, obviously wife has also the right to enjoy the same kind of life if she was living with the husband. The only issue is when they live separately. Wife is educated enough, she is able to earn, and she chooses not to get a job. She chooses not to go for a business. If she was in business or if she was in a job and she leaves the job saying, because of these atrocities committed against me, I am not able to work because I'm depressed now. I have some mental illness. I have certain other problems as well. She leaves the job and she files for the maintenance. In that situation, since she is not earning, then court is always sympathetic for two reasons. First, that she is not earning. Second, law favors her. All right. If the husband says, look, I'm not earning, then we see the hypocrisy of the judicial system, we see the hypocrisy of the legislative body. The even the judges say that you have to earn. you have to do, even if there is a situation you have to go for hard labor, then you have to maintain your wife, you have to maintain your children. But as human beings, we should all have the equal rights to have a dignified life, and we also should be accountable for our own decisions. We should be able to contribute to the entire, the family. On the one hand, we say that even the daughter has equal right in the ancestral property of the father. All right. And on the other hand, we say if she is not earning, then it is the entire burden of the husband. On the third, front, we say that we have the law which says that only the son is liable to maintain the parents. In none of the laws it is mentioned specifically that the parents can claim maintenance from the daughter. But by legal implication, in certain situations when the son is not present or son is not there, the court might direct the daughters to maintain the parents. But if the son is there, then the first duty is of the son. So there is always this disparity.
Very rightly said. So another important issue, workplace harassment. Like workplace harassment policies primarily address women's safety, but increasingly, with increasing reports of men facing workplace harassment, especially in industries like tech and hospitality, should now India move forward towards gender neutral workplace policies? And just a second, Avinash, you'll be allowed to ask the questions when I'm finished with all the questions. Okay? So have patience till then. I'll just repeat the question once again, sir. Workplace harassment policies primarily address women's safety, but with increasing reports of men facing workplace harassment, like there was a case in 2021 about a Bengaluru tech employee filing harassment complaints against a female supervisor.
Mm.
So, with the increasing reports of men facing workplace harassment, especially in industries like tech and hospitality, should India move forward gender neutral workplace policy?
Obviously, why not? By this kind of laws, although they look, please try to understand, under the prevention of sexual harassment at the workplaces, this law which only says that a female can be a victim, it presupposes two things. Either females are not capable of harassment against the males, or they are not mentally equipped to do it. In both the situations, we are discriminating based on gender itself. With the advent of the emergence of mental health act after 2018, and this, there are people of different sexual orientation, there can be situations where a male can be harassed by a female boss, female colleague, or even a male boss or male colleague. So obviously there should be gender equality under the POSH Act itself. There should be gender equality in the Domestic Violence Act itself. There should be gender equality at any other situation which arises at the workplace. Presently, it is not.
When we talk about married men's suicide rate in India is alarmingly high.
Mm.
Like NCRB has a data that shows 70% of the 72% of the suicides in 2023 were by married men. So, do you think the lack of legal resource and the societal support for men contributes to this?
Since a boy is born in a family until he dies, there are different expectations of the family, of the society, from the men or from the boy. And nobody is bothered about the mental health issues. I always tell people, look, if you leave some one company and you join some other company, then the company which you left is able to replace you with the other employee. But your mother is not going to get a second child who's you. She cannot replace you. Your father cannot replace you. But at the same time, we, based on our expectations, we never ask a son or a husband or a father about his own well-being. That puts a lots and lots of pressure All right. There was, there is always a situation when you are not able to talk about your own mental health. And because of this issue, people, especially men, they are depressed. All right. And there is, because of this issue, because of this kind of expectations, when you have to earn for the family, you have to support your family, including your parents, your siblings, your wife, your children, and everybody. And you are the last one in that priority list. Just because of that, you don't, and at the same time, you are so busy and the society is so busy that you are not able to seek guidance or counseling for your mental health. And there is the reason for this high suicide rate among men. It, as a future of this country, you always must understand everything that you do. You can always mend. You can always earn more money if you lose some money. But if you are gone, you are irreplaceable in your family. Suicide is never the option, as I have already told in on certain other podcasts and news channels. Suicide is never the option. Still, there is a need, and you must take care of your mental health. And because of this depression, because of this issue, there is again and drug menace among male members of the society. In colleges, you say lot. You always see lots and lots of boys getting into drug addiction. There are, when you join some companies, you have good access of weed and the other stuff. Then you again, get habitual of that. And after, if you're not getting, you're not getting the supply of these narcotic drugs, then the chain smoking is another issue. All right. Alcoholism is again another issue. Apart from that, when you, sometimes people also, because of alcohol and this smoking, you get bad health because of fatty liver and the other issues. So must, the mental health issues which are there among the male members of the society, you must take care of your mental health. You must prioritize your mental health, your physical well-being. And at the same time, I always tell everybody, and I'm genuinely concerned about it, that you should earn more and more money in your career. You must focus on your career, because if you have money, you will be able to buy your freedom. If you have money, because most of the, whether it is the prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces law, whether it is domestic violence act, whether it is maintenance related laws, it is all about money. It is never about punishment, because in most of the 95 to 96% of these cases are being settled, whether in the trial court or in high court or in supreme court. Only maximum 3 to 4 or 5% cases see the end of the trial.
I think so that's a disparity between high profile cases. I mean, the one who have the more money and the normal cases like Atul Subhash, for example. I think that's the disparity between them. Also, here, sir, some countries have implemented gender neutral laws. I think, if I'm not wrong, UK's Domestic Abuse Act of 2021 protects all the genders. So, can India learn from that example? And let's say if India do wants to change, what challenges could arise in adapting similar frameworks to India's socio legal landscape?
So first of all, irrespective of whatever is going on in the other countries, India, the legislative body must take certain steps and the positive steps to change the laws. Every law, every damn law must be gender neutral. All right. If a male commits murder, he should be punished. If a female commits murder, she should be punished. So the first, there is no doubt about it that the gender specific laws which are there, gender selective laws which are there, we must have gender neutral laws, and the government must take action. Or- Now the only issue is why these kind of laws are not being implemented. First, there is no political will to do it, because as soon as we talk about the change in these kind of laws, if we try to bring some uniformity in these kind of laws, there is always a hue and cry stating that for last 5,000, 10,000 years the females have been discriminated against. And we should at least, the laws which we have got after thorough fight after independence, we should always have these kind of laws, we should always have this kind of protection. But most of the females and most of these female NGOs and the right activists, they forget one thing, that these kind of gender selective laws are not just a problem of not just a male problem, it is also a female problem, it is also a societal problem, it is a national problem. Why? Because once a case is filed by daughter-in-law against the husband and the father-in-law, there are other family members, the female, especially mother-in-law, she is also implicated in this kind of false cases. The sister-in-law, she is also implicated in this kind of situations. Even the children who are 13, 14 years of age, they are also named in the FIRs. So first is the female activist that we have. We always say, whenever some atrocity is committed against females, we always see lots and lots of people on road asking for justice. All right, as we have seen in the RG Kars case, but there was not this big hue and cry about Atul Subhas's case. Nobody was on road. Nobody approached Supreme Court. Nobody filed any petition before the legislative body. First issue has always been the kind of atrocities which everybody says this is the argument that we have been discriminated against. So that's why the law must be there to protect us. Second is the hypocrisy. On the one hand, we say we need to have uniform civil code in our country. That means we want to have uniformity in the family laws, be not discriminated against based on the religion. We should take a step ahead. We should also make it general neutral, because if the husband is not able to earn, then he should be in a position to claim maintenance from the wife, or the wife is not able to earn, then she should be able to claim maintenance from the husband. Third aspect is, because there is no fault, there is a concept of divorce in India which is based on fault divorce. Hindu Marriage Act says under section 13(1) that there should be some fault of the other party, either desertion, cruelty, disease, or some other mental illness. The concept of no fault divorce, which is there in America, that can also be brought in India, where a party should be able to say that, all right, we don't have any issue with each other, but we don't want to live together. But the kind of government we have, you can always see that this is against the Indian ethos and Sanskriti and our historical thing, because we say that marriage is a sanskar. Still, we have divorce laws. We give the opportunity to take back that sanskar. Third issue is there is not much discussion about it. This, you have taken a very good positive step of calling me and talking about this kind of issues. There has to be healthy discussion. Healthy discussion means that if you are not agreeing to whatever I'm saying, then you will try to understand it. And if you have better arguments than my own, then in that situation I should be able to agree to you as well. This is not a situation that you are worshipping sun and I'm worshipping moon and we should be, okay with each other. We are talking about the future of the country, because everything that is being done, even a single false case which is being filed by a male against other male, or female against other female, female against male, or male against female, in any of these situations, any false case is always against the societal issues, the societal harmony. Any false case is against the rights of that person who has been falsely accused in that case, whether it is male or female. The fourth issue is in the impediment why these kind of laws are not there, because to change the law there has to be a will, either from the Sadak or Sansad. If there are lots and lots of people on road demanding justice, as we have seen in the cases of farmer the farm laws, for approximately more than a year, the Delhi border was sealed by the farmers, and the government had to take back those laws. So, in when we talk about gender neutrality and the neutrality in the laws, we don't see this kind of rebellion, we don't see this kind of protest by the male members of the society or the female members of the society or any part of the society. And the fifth and the most important is the people who are sitting in the parliament. If you see their criminal record, most of the people, majority of them, they have criminal record, whether it is related to a robbery, dacoity, rape, or murder. There are cases against the legislative body people itself. The member of parliament are there, member of legislative body are there, and these people are not willing to change the law. And the most important and most what I feel why there is no change is because our judicial system is again of that sort that the case once it starts, it takes years and years to complete. So today an FIR is registered, you will see the end of the trial after 10 years. And for next 10 years, if you have to go abroad for a job, you have to take permission from the trial court. You have to appear in the trial court. If you don't appear, you will get NBWs, the non-billable warrants issued against you. There is a delay in trial itself because there are not many courts. There is delay in trial because of the kind of procedure that we follow, which is very exhaustive, which is not time bound. And again, there are provisions you from the district court till Supreme Court. Sometimes it might take 30 years, and by the time your life is lost. Now, again, the next impediment is most of the people who rule us. All right, they follow this divide and rule policy. You tell a group of people in the society itself, you have this kind of privilege because there have been certain atrocities committed against you. Now the people who always say that we are the victims, they keep on calling them victims for years and years. They will always have somebody else to blame. So if the females say that we are the people who were the sufferers because of the dowry related matters, because the cruelty, in that situation, we always have to blame somebody. And the who else is better to blame than the male members of the society? And when you always call yourself victim for next 5 years, you will never be able to take it out of your mind. You will never be able to take out of your heart. You will never be able to accept the harsh reality that even the other gender can also be a victim. To sort out all these issues, in all these to sort out these impediments, what we need to do is, as the young female, the future of this country, you all must be proactive. Always try not to divide yourself based on these policies which are there from the government. Never try to get yourself divided based on gender. Never let these people to divide you through these commercial campaigns, because the other, the feminist movement is also there, which was there for the benefit of the females, so that they could have better education, they could have better understanding, they could have better opportunities to earn. The government, again, in 1950s or so, they utilized that feminist movement by saying that if there is more workforce to work, then we will have lower wages, and at the same time we will have more people paying taxes. Again, this entire feminist movement has been utilized by the corporate world by telling that you are male and you are female, you have different needs based on the gender. So the consumerism again came and everybody was there to sell products. And these people will always get benefit because of this divide and rule policy. Never let yourself divided, especially based on gender. You are all intellectual people. You are going to join certain, industries, and few of you are going to be remembered for 100 years to come. And as a fellow engineer, I'm saying,
So, when you're talking about the exhaustive cases, do you think that fast track courts or fast tracking cases can help in that, or maybe providing legal aid to men, so that can actually, you know, provide them sort of an emotional support that they're not alone in this. Something like this can be helpful.
Look, legal aid services are there already. All right. If you are not able to earn more than 1 lakh rupees a year, then you get free legal aid. The only issue is related to the quality. In Supreme Court, we have good case, good lawyers who work for free of cost. In Delhi High Court, also the legal aid committee is there. But in district court, the situation is totally different. First, second, male only gets legal aid because he is not earning the specific, threshold amount. But a female can get a free lawyer just because she is a female. So providing legal aid to the male members of the society, especially the people who are able to earn, if the quality of that lawyer and the legal aid, people is good, only in that situation it will be beneficial. And what was the second question? I just forgot.
The fast tracking courts.
Fast tracking, yes. Now fast tracking the entire trial process is definitely going to help for two reasons. First, once the trial starts and if it is concluded within 6 months, so because the time duration is not that big, the entire procedure, which can be a harassment, which can be a punishment, that must not be there, and that will not be there. Second, if the trial process is concluded in 6 months and you are acquitted in that case, then you will definitely be able to enforce your rights of malicious prosecution against the complainant or the person who filed false case against you. Or the second, you can always demand compensation. You can always file the criminal complaints related to giving false information or related to perjury, giving false statement in the court. And that case has to be again decided within the next 6 months or so. So the swift justice can again be helpful in this kind of situations. Third is, when the case goes on for like 7 or 8 years, the entire process, entire duration is a punishment itself. You cannot go again. I'm again repeating the thing. You cannot go abroad without taking the permission from the concerned court. You cannot join a government company. Those PSU, sorry, government job or PSU. If you go for an intelligence job, you clear the SSC or UPSC exam, and if the police verification is negative, then it becomes a difficult situation for you. Either this way or that way, either conviction or acquittal. The process must be fast enough, and it should be a just process. Second is, if you have to challenge that order, you will be able to do it in a time bound manner. You can earn more money if you lose money. You can always have better health by joining gym, by working on your diet and everything. But time is something that a commodity that you cannot earn. You can only save the time, and you should must be focused on time. We see lots and lots of cases in US where if a female falsely accused the male counterpart, and the court found that she was lying, there is a harsh punishment. There is the civil remedies, there are criminal remedies as well. And there have been cases where millions of dollars have been awarded by the concerned court. In India, the compensation, we talk about compensation, the action is not taken against the person who files the false complaint. So, what to talk about the compensation? But definitely fast tracking the courts, although there are fast track courts related to POXO 376 matters, but there should be fast track cases against in the situations where the false information is given, especially when the court comes to the conclusion, defamation
Okay,
or
so
malicious prosecution both.
that was it from my side of questions. Okay, I'll now open the floor for audience question and answer. Guys, you can raise your hands or you can write in the chat. I'll pick your questions. Preet Mohan Sahu, yes, go ahead. You're not audible.
Need to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
I
evening.
am from Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Sir, how can we prevent ourselves from these biased laws?
You need protection in many ways. But all I can say is when you get into a relationship, all right, there are laws related to that. Always try to have your own evidence with you. What we do is in the relationship related situations when we break up, if there is some anger issue, altercation and everything, we try to delete every chat, we try to delete everything, the videos, audio recordings and everything. Don't do that, because if there is, if something goes south, then only the things which matters is the evidence. Never get into a he says she says situation. First, when you get into matrimonial situation, try to have equally contributing partner in your life. We cannot have a straitjacket formula of dealing with each and every kind of case, but you should be vigilant enough by collecting evidence, by having evidence with you, and not delete them, whether it is related to your audio recordings, whether it is related to the messenger chats, whether it is related to WhatsApp chats, whether it is related to the monetary transactions that you have given, so transferred some money or you have taken some amount of money. If you have gifted something, in that situation, you must have record of that as well. If you go to a hotel, then you at least must have a valid booking related to that book, that stay. So it is case to case basis, but in all the situations, because of this kind of gender selective laws, there will always be some suspicion in the relationships and in the family. Never think like the rest of the boys of the previous generation कि मेरी वाली ऐसी नहीं है, चाहे वो वाइफ हो या गर्लफ्रेंड हो। उस सिचुएशन से थोड़ा दूर रहना, क्योंकि आपकी सेफ्टी आपके हाथ में है। एट द सेम टाइम, इफ यू आर implicated in false case, you will not be the sufferer, your family will also suffer, your sister will suffer, your mother will suffer, your father will suffer. So it is your prerogative. And
Sir,
if
if we have
one
okay, sir.
one last line, all right. So, and one more thing, and if you think, if you have this apprehension that some case is going to be filed against you, you should take the first step. If somebody is extorting, blackmailing you, file a police complaint. Have a record with you. Yes.
Sir, if we have deleted the charts or some evidence that are online, then I think the cyber department of India also, they have access to all those the chats or calls. They can show that as evidence in the court.
The problem is, if we talk about SMSs, then those are available for few years. Even after 5 6 years, you can get the record related to SMSs. But if we talk about WhatsApp chats, Telegram, and the other messengers, most of these companies, whenever the police files send some notice, they say that we cannot read. When you open WhatsApp, you will always say that this is end to end encrypted. So if you are the victim of this false kind of false cases, if you are the victim of this kind of situations and you file a case, it would be pretty difficult for you to get that evidence from that concerned company to the court. Never delete
Okay, sir.
anything. Never
Yes.
delete. Keep a
Thank you, sir.
record, and you are all technical people. You can always save it on Google Drive or other, iCloud and everything. After 10 years or so, you think that your girlfriend who used to be with you like 10 years back, and now there is no apprehension of any case against you, then you can delete it. Not
Yes, sir.
immediately.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Avinash.
हेलो सर, गुड इवनिंग। मेरा आवाज
गुड
आ रहा है क्या?
इवनिंग अविनाश, बिल्कुल आ रही है तिवारी जी।
मैं यूट्यूब पे अभी आपको सुना हूँ थोड़ा बहुत। मैं थोड़ा 5 मिनट चाहूंगा, मैं अपना पॉइंट कुछ रखना चाहता हूँ, आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ। पहला पॉइंट मेरा ये है कि अगर जेंडर वाइज देखा जाए मेल एंड फीमेल, तो इंडिया में इनकम टैक्स कौन ज्यादा पे करता होगा, कितना परसेंट आपके अकॉर्डिंग करता होगा? और ये जितना कोर्ट, जुडिशियरी, पुलिस सिस्टम चल रहा है, ऑब्वियस है ये हमारे टैक्सेस से ही चल रहा है। और वन साइडेड देखा जाए तो 95% तो मुझे लगता है मेल्स ही पे करते होंगे टैक्स
हाँ।
वगैरह जो भी है। और ये भी देखा जाए तो 95% ही मेल्स को ही हैरेस किया करता है। वही जुडिशियरी, वही पुलिस, वही सिस्टम, वही कोर्ट,
Avinash,
वही वकील।
Avinash, Sorry to
जी।
interrupt you. Just let me remind you, you are going on
So
record, ठीक है? So
come
don't
to
say
the
something that will get you
question.
into trouble.
मैं कुछ गलत नहीं
Then
बोल रहा
come
हूँ,
to the question,
मैं
Tiwari.
कुछ गलत नहीं बोल, मैं अपना पॉइंट
हाँ
रख रहा हूँ।
अविनाश,
सर तो मेरा
Yeah.
क्वेश्चन यही है, जी सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन पहला यही है कि इस तरह मतलब ये जो हम एक तरफ तो जेंडर इक्वालिटी का बात करते हैं और दूसरी तरफ उसका कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन हम सारा काम करते हैं, ठीक है? मतलब जो टैक्स देगा वही उसी के पैसे से उसी को हैरेस किया जाएगा, ये कितना हद तक सही है?
हम्म,
एक और दूसरा बात एक ये कि ये जो इस तरह के लॉज जो बने हैं तमाम, जैसे मान लीजिए 498 ए है,
हम्म,
अगर ये लॉज हमने यूएसए वगैरह कहीं से लिया है तो वहाँ पे ये लॉज है कि डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस अगेंस्ट स्पाउसेस,
हम्म,
मतलब हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ दोनों के लिए किसी के साथ भी हो सकता है।
हम्म,
लेकिन जब हमने इंडिया में उसको कॉपी मारा तो इसको बना दिया डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस अगेंस्ट फीमेल्स,
हम्म।
मतलब फीमेल्स के अगेंस्ट ही होता है, मेल्स के अगेंस्ट तो हो ही नहीं सकता है। तो ये सब बातें तो मुझे लगता है एक क्लास फिफ्थ का बच्चा भी पढ़ेगा तो समझ जाएगा कि क्या सही है और क्या गलत है। तो
अविनाश,
हमारे यहाँ जो रूल,
हाँ मैं थोड़ा सा, मैं अगर समझ पा रहा हूँ, एक बात बताओ, बड़ा सिंपल सा है. योर मदर,
जी,
शी वर्किंग और शी इज अ हाउस मेकर?
माय ब्रदर वाज अ गवर्नमेंट टीचर, नाउ
गवर्नमेंट
शी इज
टीचर.
रिटायर्ड, शी
ऑलराइट.
वाज अ प्रिंसिपल,
In
यस।
majority of the families, the females, especially mothers, they are not. They leave their job to take care of the children. They leave their job to take care of the family. ठीक है. तो अगर कोई भी आदमी जिसके पास इवन डिग्री हो और 20 साल 15 साल या 25 साल तक वो जॉब नहीं कर रहा है, इट बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट फॉर दैट पर्सन टू गेट अ जॉब, चाहे आदमी हो या औरत, दोनों के लिए बराबर है. इन दैट सिचुएशन, कानून में कोई प्रोविजन तो ऐसा होना चाहिए जो हमारी मदर को भी प्रोटेक्ट करे, पहला,
बिल्कुल,
है ना? तो इस उस तरीके की सिचुएशन में, क्योंकि घर चलाने के लिए आदमी और औरत दोनों की, जो मदर है फादर है, दोनों का कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है. दोनों के कंट्रीब्यूशन को नेग्लेक्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं. फादर भी अगर काम कर रहा है और वो पैसे कमा रहा है, तो पैसे इसलिए कमा पा रहा है क्योंकि घर घर में उसकी वाइफ बैठी हुई है जो बच्चों की देखभाल कर पा रही है. अगर आप अपने बच्चों के लिए मेड भी लगाओगे तो उसके लिए भी कुछ ना कुछ तो कंट्रीब्यूशन रखोगे उसके लिए भी, लेकिन 24 घंटे कोई नहीं देता है. दूसरा, आपकी एब्सेंस में आपके जो पेरेंट्स होते हैं, मतलब हस्बैंड के जो पेरेंट्स हैं, इन लॉज हैं, उनकी टेक केयर करने की जिम्मेदारी भी जनरली वाइफ के ऊपर आती है. हमारी सोसाइटी जो है वो जो जॉइंट फैमिली को प्रमोट करने वाली सोसाइटी रही है. और जिस तरह की सिचुएशन, जिस तरह की एजुकेशन हम देख रहे हैं आज की तारीख में, वो सारे का सारा न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज की तरफ जा रहा है. बच्चे जो हैं वो पढ़ाई करते हैं, पढ़ाई करने के लिए उन्हें स्कूल जो है उनके घर के आसपास नहीं होता, बहुत दूर जाना पड़ता है. जब आप जॉब करने के बाद, पढ़ाई करने के लिए बाद में डिग्री लेने के लिए आते हो, तो आप लोग भी जैसे आईआईटी आए हुए हो, तो आप भी बहुत दूर-दूर से आए हो. तो आप अपने घर से अलग हो और उसके बाद जब जॉब लगेगी, तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वो कंपनी आपके घर के आस-पड़ोस में होगी या नहीं होगी, इसकी कोई गारंटी नहीं है. उसके बाद आपको इंडिया से बाहर भी जाना पड़ सकता है. जिस तरह की सिचुएशन में हम हैं, जब हम कमाते हैं, उसके बाद जो टैक्स पे करते हैं, तो टैक्स पे करने के लिए हम ये नहीं बोल सकते हैं, पहली बात तो, कि सिर्फ मेल मेंबर ही टैक्स दे रहे हैं. क्योंकि जब
मेरी
आप
मेरी को
हम
सॉरी,
एक बार
बोलिए
मैं
आप।
कंप्लीट कर लेता हूँ, हाँ. क्योंकि जब कोई फीमेल कहीं घर के लिए ग्रोसरीज लेने जाती है, तो वो भी, उसमें भी टैक्स पार्ट इंक्लूडेड होता है. पहले वैट हुआ करता था, अब जीएसटी हो गया है. दूसरी चीज, जो आप मेल मेंबर की बात कर रहे हो, फीमेल लॉज की बात कर रहे हो, जो हमारे लेजिस्लेटिव बॉडी के आदमी हैं, जो पार्लियामेंट में है, 545 43 या 45 लोग जो बैठे हुए हैं, उसमें भी मेजोरिटी मेल है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जो जजेस बैठे हैं वो भी मेजोरिटी मेल है. हाई कोर्ट में जो जजेस हैं वो भी मेजोरिटी मेल है. यूपीएससी का डाटा उठा के देखोगे, मेजोरिटी जो ब्यूरोक्रेट्स हैं वो भी मेल है. स्टिल वी आर फेसिंग दिस काइंड ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. ठीक है. और जो मेजोरिटी है, वो उन्होंने कानून बना दिया और वो कानून की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हो रही है. इस लॉ में प्रॉब्लम है, इन सारे लॉज में प्रॉब्लम है, लेकिन ऐसा कौन सा कानून है जिसमें प्रॉब्लम नहीं है? बी इट रिलेटेड टू दी पॉक्सो एंड दी अदर, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ इशू रहता ही है. बट इसमें सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हम जेंडर के बेस पे एक बंदे को अलग पनिशमेंट दे रहे हैं और दूसरे के अगेंस्ट कोई पनिशमेंट नहीं है, विच इज दी अनफेयर थिंग. और उसको ठीक करने के लिए, जैसे तुमने बात बोली है, तुम्हारे जैसे लोगों को और बाकी लोगों को लेजिस्लेटिव बॉडी में आना चाहिए टू चेंज दीज लॉज.
हेलो।
हाँ,
हेलो
Yeah,
सर,
Ganesh.
कैन यू हियर मी?
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
सर, मेरी कोई भी बात पहले तो 100% के लिए नहीं है, इसीलिए मैंने 95% कहा, ठीक है?
बिल्कुल।
अच्छे लोग हैं, लेकिन परसेंटेज अगर देखा जाए रेशियो का जितना कम होता जा रहा है, और हमारे लॉज कौन बना रहे हैं? ये जो लीडर हैं, नेता मंत्री
आदमी
चाहे
लोग
जो भी,
बना रहे हैं।
अब
आदमी लोगों
नहीं,
ने बनाए हैं सारे कानून।
आदमी लोग तो बना रहे हैं, लेकिन वो आपको लगता है वो बनाने लायक है? उसमें कितने अनपढ़ हैं, कैसे नेता मंत्री लोग बैठे हुए हैं। और
तभी तो मैं बोल
मेरा
रहा
एक
हूँ कि आप जैसे पढ़े लिखे लोगों को आना चाहिए। मैं
और
खुद
सर मेरा एक
इंजीनियरिंग कर चुका
क्वेश्चन,
हूँ।
हाँ नहीं, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन और है। अगर देखा जाए तो मैं पर्सनली मानता हूँ, अपना कंट्री जब से आजाद हुआ है, लॉयर्स का कितना बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन हर जगह रहा है। आप भी एक लॉयर हैं, तो मान लीजिए फीमेल्स जितने भी केस लेके, मान लीजिए 100 वुमेन्स कोई केस लेके अपना गई फीमेल लॉयर्स के पास, ओके?
हम्म,
तो मुझे लगता है उन फीमेल्स में 100 में से 99 को तो सारा पता भी नहीं होता होगा लॉज वगैरह, लेकिन
देखो,
ये
क्वेश्चन
लॉयर्स
नहीं
ही
है
होते
अविनाश,
हैं।
आपका क्वेश्चन प्लीज, आप क्वेश्चन पे आइए प्लीज।
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन यही है कि ज्यादातर केसेस में लॉयर्स ही इंकरेज करते हैं फीमेल्स को कि आप इस तरीके से मेल्स को परेशान कर सकते हो, हरेस कर सकते हो सारे। और कई कई जगह तो मतलब परसेंटेज पे केस लड़े जाते हैं, मेल्स के साथ तो नहीं लड़े जाते हैं ऐसे उनके केस। तो ये लॉयर्स के लिए आपका कोई मैसेज अगर हो तो जरूर आप
बिल्कुल
दें।
है, मैं आपको उसका आंसर कर देता हूँ। देखो, पहली बात तो ये है कि जिस जहाँ इन कानून की ज़रूरत है, वहाँ इन कानून का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन बहुत अच्छा नहीं है। गाँव के एरिया में जहाँ पे औरतों के साथ, लेडीज़ के साथ जो मिसबिहेव होता है, आज की तारीख में भी हो रहा है और मैं भी देख चुका हूँ। ऐसी कई स्टेट ऐसी हैं जहाँ शायद ही कोई गाँव होगा जहाँ किसी लेडी की या घर की बहू की पिटाई नहीं होती है। ऑलमोस्ट घर के हर गाँव के उस हर घर में होता है ऐसा सिचुएशन। लेकिन उनके ऊपर सोसाइटी का, फैमिली का इतना प्रेशर होता है कि वो पुलिस को अप्रोच नहीं कर पाती है। वहाँ रूरल एरियाज़ में इस तरह के कानून का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन उन लोगों के बेनिफिट के लिए होना चाहिए। लेकिन जो पढ़ी-लिखी लेडीज़ हैं, जो इसका मिसयूज़, जो आप लोगों तक न्यूज़ पहुँचती है, उन लोगों की है, जो पढ़ी-लिखी लेडीज़ हैं, जो पैसा कमा सकती हैं, जो लॉयर की फीस भर सकती हैं, अपने बच्चे भी पाल सकते हैं, जो यूएस भी जा सकते हैं, यूके भी जा सकते हैं अपनी बेस्ड ऑन देयर ओन क्रेडेंशियल्स, और वो इस लॉज़ का मिसयूज़ करती हैं। तो जब वो इस लॉज़ का मिसयूज़ करती हैं, तो आपको लगता है कि वो लॉयर के पास आने से पहले गूगल पे बैठ के नहीं देखती होंगी? वो दिन चले गए जब बोलते थे कि लॉयर ने बोला था कि भई 125 की पिटीशन में ये लिखना है। वो दिन चले गए जब बोलते थे कि लॉयर ने बोला था कि जी हमने तो ऐसे लिखना चाहिए। आज की तारीख में जब कोई फीमेल किसी लॉयर के पास आती है, तो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द फीमेल्स इन अर्बन एरियाज़, दे ऑलवेज़ अदर दे आर वेल रेड पीपल। वो आके बोलती हैं कि मेरे ससुर ने मेरे साथ छेड़खानी की थी, मेरे पति ने मेरे साथ ऐसा गलत किया था। इस डेट को किया था, उस दिन ये प्रेज़ेंट थे, आप लिखिए इसको।
सर वो
हाँ,
तो है,
जहाँ
लेकिन
तक
एक
1 मिनट
मोरल।
अविनाश, 1 मिनट, 1 मिनट। दूसरी बात आती है लॉयर की, तो उसमें सिचुएशन ये देखो, किसी भी सिस्टम के अंदर हर तरह के आदमी और हर तरह के इंसान होते हैं, हर तरह की सिचुएशन होती है। लेकिन 1, 2 या 3, 4 या कुछ एक स्मॉल चंक है, उसकी वजह से हम मेजॉरिटी को दोष नहीं दे सकते। अगर मेजॉरिटी को दोष देते और मेजॉरिटी लॉयर ऐसे होते, तो आज मैं आपके सामने ये सब बातें नहीं बता रहा होता। ऐसे बहुत सारे लॉयर हैं जो ये बात बोलते हैं। इवन इन हाई कोर्ट एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट, व्हेन द जज आस्क्स अ लॉयर फ्रैंकली कैंडिड, बिकॉज वी आर द ऑफिसर ऑफ द कोर्ट, कि आप बताइए व्हाट इज योर ऑनेस्ट ओपिनियन ऑन दिस मैटर, तो वी कैंडिडली टेल द कोर्ट कि भाई इसमें ये मेरी ओपिनियन ये है कि इसमें इस तरह की सिचुएशन नहीं हुई है। लॉयर फ्रेटर्निटी से ज्यादा इन लॉज को बदलने के लिए, जो आपकी जनरेशन है, जिसको आने वाले टाइम में, जिन पॉलिटिशियन से आप परेशान हैं, जो आप जिन आदमियों ने कानून बनाए हैं, उन लोगों की फ्रेटर्निटी को चेंज करने के लिए यंग ब्लड को आना बहुत जरूरी है। जब तक आपकी फ्रेटर्निटी से आपकी जनरेशन के अच्छे पढ़े लिखे डिग्री वाले लोग नहीं आएंगे, जिनके अगेंस्ट कोई क्रिमिनल केस नहीं है, तब तक लॉज चेंज नहीं होंगे। ब्लेमिंग इज क्वाइट इजी, बट वी नीड टू टेक स्टेप्स टू कर्ब इट। और गूगल ने और याहू ने और बिंग ने तो इतना धमाका कर दिया, और ऊपर से अब तो एआई भी आ चुका है कि आप कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछिए, उसके 25 आंसर लिख देते हैं। इवन वी एक्सपेरिमेंटेड विद एआई कि देयर वाज वन पर्सन, उसने बोला कि भाई ये मुझे ऐसे ऐसे फादर इन लॉ के अगेंस्ट एलिगेशन लगाने, तो क्या क्या लगाए जा सकते हैं। इट गेव अस अ लिस्ट ऑफ 60 डिफरेंट एलिगेशंस बेस्ड ऑन द गूगल सर्च। ठीक है, आई होप दैट आंसर्ड योर क्वेरी।
Okay. Yes, Avinash, I hope that
यस
answered
सर,
your query and no more
मैं
questions
एक
from your
लास्ट
side.
क्वेश्चन करना
No,
चाहूंगा.
no, no, Avinash, there are lots of people. There are lots of people. Give others the chance to speak. Okay. Okay, Yuvraj.
Good evening, sir. I hope
Good
you're doing
evening.
fine.
Thank you for your wishes, yeah. I hope you are fine as well.
Yeah, sir. Sir, so I had two questions in my mind. Firstly, it's regarding Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's case where she accused him of domestic abuse. So,
Hmm.
sir, if we put him ourselves in his shoes, uh, how do male victims of domestic abuse seek help? And what measures can be implemented to improve support systems for men who are victims of domestic violence? Secondly, sir, about prenuptial agreement. Uh, sir, how can prenuptial agreements protect both parties in the event of a divorce? And what are the common misconceptions about prenuptial agreements?
ठीक है. So first question is related to domestic violence help. The help related to the male members who are victim of the domestic violence. Presently, there is no specific law which deals with this kind of situation. So until unless law, there is some changes in the law, there cannot be this remedy in this kind of situation. Second, we do not have any data related to the specific cases or instances of domestic violence against the male members of the society. There is no national commission for men, and there is a demand, but I think there should not be any national commission for of women. There should not be any national commission of men. There should be some which is that this there should be some parity in law, and we need to remove the disparity. हेल्प की जहाँ तक आप बात करते हैं, if you are accused of false case, then after winning the case, you can always get file a case of malicious prosecution. You can demand compensation. You can demand action. If some statement which is given by the female, which is false, you can always file a cross complaint before the concerned ACP, DSP, or the commissioner of police or the SHO or investigating officer. You can also file a complaint in the concerned court itself stating that this is the false statement which has been given. If there is some false evidence which is being filed against you in that kind of situation, you can always file an appropriate application in the court itself. And if the matter is not settled, you can also pursue these kind of cases. If the female, whether it is girlfriend or wife or anybody else, if that person defames you in front of the friends and relatives, you can always file criminal complaint as well as civil case of defamation, wherein the punishment is up to 2 years. You can always demand compensation. So there are different remedies. If somebody is blackmailing you, you can always approach the police. Although it is a matter different altogether when the police does not register the FIR, when a male member goes and says that female, my wife is or my girlfriend is blackmailing me or extorting money from me. But if the police is not taking action in that situation, you must know that you can always approach court.
I hope that answers your
Yes,
question, Yuvraj.
हाँ,
definitely.
जॉनी
Okay.
डेप का शायद जॉनी डेप का रह गया था, बहुत दुखती रह गया लड़कों की. कितना कंपनसेशन मिला था उसको? I think it was in millions.
Sir, I think it was three
4
hundred
million, I
fifty
think.
thousand dollars.
कितना 3,000 या 300,000?
Sir, I think around 350,000.
मेरे हिसाब से मिलियंस में था, चेक कर लेंगे. बट इंडियन लॉ में इतना ज्यादा नहीं मिलता है. यहाँ कंज्यूमर कंप्लेंट डाल दोगे कि मेरी 10 लाख रुपए की गाड़ी खराब हो गई थी, तो 50,000 रुपए कंपनसेशन मिलता है 10 साल बाद.
15 million in compensation.
15 million, yes. Although he has not taken it and she has not paid it, but that was the award given by the court. So in our society as also, until or unless there is some fear of this kind of situation, that the court can also take action against the person who raises false complaint or false allegation against somebody else, this would remain the harsh reality and the harsh truth that the problem is there.
Someone has written उस compensation में भी tax लग जाएगा.
जो आप कंपनसेशन लेते हो उसके अंदर टैक्स नहीं होता है. टैक्स दूसरी दुखती रह गए.
Okay, so Dhanvantri.
Yeah, hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, I have a question related to how to file if I am facing workplace harassment and how to file that. What is the process for to file the complaint in
ठीक.
that case?
मैं थोड़ा शॉर्ट में बता देता हूँ आपको. जिस भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आप काम कर रहे होते हैं अंडर द प्रिवेंशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल हरेसमेंट एट वर्क प्लेसेस, वहाँ एक इंटरनल कंप्लेंट कमेटी बनी होती है जिसे आईसीसी बोलते हैं. उसकी डिटेल जो है उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर, चाहे जनरली इट इज एप्लीकेबल अपॉन ऑल दी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जहाँ 10 से ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉय हैं, लेकिन एज ए प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर होना चाहिए. तो आप अपनी कंप्लेंट को सिंपल तरीके से लिख के जो जो आपके साथ हरेसमेंट हुआ है, आप आईसीसी को फाइल कर सकते हो. ऑल्टरनेटिवली अगर हैरेसमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा है तो आप डायरेक्टली अप्रोच कर सकते हो पुलिस को. और उसके अलावा अगर आप नहीं करना चाहते हो तो जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कमेटी होती है उसकी ऑनलाइन आपको डिटेल मिल जाएगी. आप अपनी कंप्लेंट वहाँ पे भी फाइल कर सकते हो. उसमें इंक्वायरी होती है, इंक्वायरी में आपको जाना पड़ेगा.
Okay, but if means I am facing some problem related to filing the complaints in the police station. If the police stations means police is not taking my complaint, then what should I do?
तो
If
आप
they
क्या
are
कर
not
सकते हो? हाँ, आप क्या कर सकते हो अगर पुलिस एक्शन नहीं ले रही, तो नेशनल कमीशन ऑफ वुमेन को भी आप एक चिट्ठी लिख सकते हो. ठीक है. और और साथ में एक काम और भी कर सकते हो कि आप अगर पुलिस एक्शन नहीं ले रही तो लोकल एडवोकेट से बात करके एक एप्लीकेशन बनती है सेक्शन 173 क्लॉज 4 भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता बीएनएसएस. उसमें आप कंसर्न मैजिस्ट्रेट के पास एप्लीकेशन फाइल कर सकते हो.
okay.
ठीक है.
Could you please repeat one more time?
173
173
173 क्लॉज 4 ब्रैकेट में 4
oh
बीएनएसएस. ओके.
BNSS. Okay. Thank you.
लोकल
Thank you, sir.
एडवोकेट से आप लिखवा सकते हो. ऑलराइट, मोस्ट वेलकम.
Okay, last
नेक्स्ट.
question for the day. Harshal. Harshal. Okay, he has posted in the chat. I want to know if it's easy for a female to file false charges against me without any evidence. For example, can a random woman I see on the street file a charge against me without any evidence? And how easy it is? It is based on the relationship, like strangers, friends, girlfriend, and wife. Again, I'm asking without any evidence, how easy it is for female to file a case against me based on the relationship we have.
It is as easy as it can be. As easy. Stalking, if some girl, you are going on a street, some girl says that you are basically stalking her, you are following her, there might or might not be a proof. She says that you eve teased her, you abused her. So in that situation she can always file a case against you. For filing a case, for filing a complaint, for getting the affair registered, the evidence does not matter. Allegations matter. Evidence only comes to picture and only plays a very important role during the trial, whether you should be acquitted या you should be convicted. Allegation के बेस पे होता है और without any evidence होता है. Evidence आएगा तो evidence will come only at the time when the investigation takes place, or if there is no evidence during the investigation but the girl says that you have committed that such and such things against her, then her sole testimony can be a basis of the lengthy trial. And if she is able to prove through oral evidence, there is no medical evidence, there is no, other chats, or there is nothing on record. Still, if her testimony is worthy, true enough, or is of good quality, then it is more than sufficient to convict you. So it is quite easy to get an FIR registered against you. It is quite easy to convict you, even in a false case, and especially in false cases. Because of
Biswajit
these
wants to.
false cases, no, just because of these false cases, the genuine cases also lose their importance.
Okay, so Biswajit has added to that question. If she gets physically aggressive on me, how can I legally defend myself?
Physically aggressive. All right. First of all, if somebody hits you, you can always file a police complaint, although it is non-cognizable. Causing simple hurt is an offense. Causing grievous hurt, some bone is broken, कान का पर्दा फट गया, खून आ गया, or if there is some tooth which is broken, the causing grievous hurt is again an offense. Or if she pulls your hair and takes it off and there is bleeding, then it also amounts to an offense. She can be aggressive, but I would again suggest you, if there is this kind of situation, try to stay away from legal issues. Because if you say file any complaint and she says, if it is girlfriend that you falsely promised her to marry, or your wife is there, she says you were the person who was committing domestic violence. If it was your friend and you go to the police, and the police might also tutor that girl to file false cases against you. So first try to sort it out. If not at all, the going to the police and the court must be the last option.
Okay,
Sir, can
I
I add
see.
something?
Yes.
Sir, 2 years ago, a taxi driver was slapped 15 times by a girl. In that case, what can I do?
All right. So 2 years ago, the Indian Penal Code was in picture. Slapping somebody causes hurt, and it was punishable under Section 323 Indian Penal Code, which was non-cognizable case, and the police cannot investigate without getting court's permission, court's order, and the punishment is also too small. But if you want to genuinely pursue your complaint, if you want to genuinely you know enforce your legal right, then you have to take recourse from the court's recourse of getting the thing investigated to go through the entire trial process. But because of the length of the trial procedure and the duration of the trial, the process itself becomes a punishment for the complainant as well, sometimes, if it is a genuine complaint. If it is a false one, the victim is always the accused.
तो वो थप्पड़ खाने के बाद मुझे भागना चाहिए या फिर वहीं पे रुकना चाहिए?
पहली बात तो, अगर थप्पड़ खाना है तो सबसे पहले 112 नंबर पे कॉल करो, और दूसरा क्या है कि जब आपके पास गाड़ी होती है उसका डैश कैम ऑन करके रखो। और तीसरी चीज, अगर आपके अगेंस्ट इस तरह की सिचुएशन हो रही है तो आप यू कैन ऑलवेज गो फॉर फेसबुक लाइव, यूट्यूब लाइव, और रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू कर दो। आप नहीं कर रहे हो तो जैसे मैं बता रहा हूँ ना कि ईच वन हेल्प द अदर पर्सन। पहले वो ईच वन टीच वन था ना, अब लड़कों के लिए हो गया है ईच वन असिस्ट द अदर वन। तो अगर किसी के साथ हो रहा है तो दूसरा बाई स्टैंडर जो है उसको आप बोल सकते हो कि आप वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कीजिए। आपके साथ कोई और है उनको बोल सकते हो आप वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कीजिए इन सब चीजों का। बिकॉज इन कोर्ट he says she says situation is always against the male member of the society. तो यू मस्ट नॉट गेट इनटू दैट सिचुएशन। यू ऑलवेज मस्ट ट्राई टू कलेक्ट एविडेंस। जब आप स्पॉट पे हैं, इंसिडेंट हो रहा है, तो वहां हमेशा दो चीजों पे ध्यान रखिए। एक तो खुद को बचाना कैसे है, दूसरा जब अगर बाई चांस कोर्ट में या पुलिस स्टेशन जाना पड़ेगा तो मुझे अपने एविडेंस जो है वो क्या क्या जरूरत पड़ेगी। गुस्सा दिखाओ, गुस्सा करो मत, दिमाग ठंडा रखो। एंड इफ you have the evidences, you can always get the other person punished. But try to stay away from this kind of situation.
Okay, guys, I do see many raised hand and I do see questions in the chat, but agar if we start taking everything, then it will go beyond 9. And sir has also some time constraints. Sir has taken out some time from his busy schedule, so we'll conclude this session here. Now, our aim was to act as a catalyst so that you can actually think about these topics. You can take care about these topics. You can start taking interest, because what I have seen is we had this session of Voices of Power Season 1, which was related to women-centric issues, and most of you asked me to have sessions about men-related as well. But when we started promoting it, some of you were laughing, some of you didn't join. So if you will act like that, then how will you expect others to take you seriously? So that was the essence of that. Thank you everyone for being part of today's session. A heartfelt thank you to Vikas sir for sharing his deep knowledge and valuable insights with us. Your expertise, sir, I think, has not only highlighted the pressing issues faced by men in our legal framework, but has also inspired us to think critically about the need for a balanced and inclusive approach to gender justice. Uh, As we conclude, I'll say let's remember that awareness is the first step towards change, whether it's educating ourselves, having conversations in our communities, or advocating for reforms. Each of us has a role to play. We have a role to play in creating a legal system that values fairness, justice for everyone, regardless of the gender. So I encourage you personally to take what you have learned today and share it with others. Knowledge has the power to spark meaningful conversation. Once again, thank you, Vikas, for your time and dedication to the cause. We are truly grateful for the wisdom that you shared. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
inviting me. I hope it helps.
Definitely so. Thank you, everyone. So, good night. Take care. Have meaningful conversations like this only. And if you have any feedback for me or any suggestions for future topics, you can contact me. Take care and good night.